Hey everybody, Brian here again with another video of games I beat. It's time for September and October, year of our Lord 2022. I love saying that. First off, a Genesis game. I haven't beat a Genesis game in a while. I think the last one I beat was maybe Shinobi 3. Probably, yeah, and I love that game. So, one game I always wanted to beat, one of the first Genesis games I ever played, is Altered Beast on the Sega Genesis, the original pack-in, and it was the grid-looking box Genesis thingy before the dark times, before Sonic. Just kidding, just kidding. Sonic's fine, uh, and this game's fine. A little hard at first, but it's really short, so you got to really memorize the levels. There's 5 levels. You kick, punch these blue wolves or pigs or boars, and they give you power orbs. You get the power orb and you power up. He says, have to get 3 power orbs to power into your beast form. Once you get the beast form, you can fight the wizard. Meet the wizard. He transforms into a big boss. You beat the boss. He takes all your orbs. You come back to the the muscular human, and you got to do the same thing again. Each level you transform into a different beast. The first one's like a werewolf. The second one is like a dragon. The third is like a bear. The fourth is a tiger. The fifth is something else. I forget what the fifth one is. I think there's 5 stages. Yeah, it's hard, but once you get the hang of it, you can breeze through it. Fit 20-25 minutes, and it's fun. I hear a lot of people say bad things about it, but I quite thoroughly enjoyed my time with Altered Beast. Finally checked it off the list. This is a game where I'm glad I grew up. I'm knocking these games off that I grew up playing, and this is every time I do, or I grew up at least experiencing, and I'm glad when I beat a game that I played as a kid and I could not beat it. It's really makes me happy. And Altered Beast. You can get it on the Virtual Console if you have it. On the 3DS, they have the Sega collection for 3D, and they put it in 3D, I think. You can get it on there. Next up, continuing with the Nintendo DS, we have Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Kind of a mystery slash novel, kind of a puzzle game. Made by the guy who did Professor Late, or Professor Late? No. Phoenix Wright. I always get those two confused. Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton. Basically, it's a mystery where you start out, you're dead, you're killed, and then you inhabit the spirit of your body. Or you're like your body. No, I'm sorry. You're just spirit, and you can possess objects to manipulate them. And it's like a whole. It goes through the chapters, and you meet the characters are the real star of this game. They're very well written. It is very wordy, but you got to do puzzles to maybe you see you see a dead body, you inhabit the body, and you see how they died, and you can go back 3 minutes in time to stop how they died, and so you have to manipulate the area, and stop the scene, maybe swing a desk lamp, or do something to prevent them from dying, and then they help you out, and you keep doing that, and the mystery unsolves, why were you killed, what's behind this. It goes into a really weird place, there's an underwater sub. It's really the story just is out of there. It kind of lost me at the end with the story, but the puzzles exploring, how do I keep this guy from dying, and it's very well written. There's a dog in here called Missile. You really care for this dog. It's written like a dog would, how he's just written like a dog. He's was my favorite character in this game. It's not too long. I think it's 18 chapters. It took me a few days to beat. It's more character focused and than anything else, but the puzzles are good and they're not too difficult to finish. The soundtrack is a banger that is really, really good as well. Ghost Trick. It's never played Professor Layton, but the guy who did this game did a great job. So if you like Professor Layton and you haven't played Ghost Trick, maybe play this. They're not similar probably, but fun game. It's on iOS, I think. I don't know if it's on Android. Next up, we have Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. This was the last of the Castlevania DS games released by Igarashi. You play as Shinoa, a shardbinder. Basically, you go through. You're supposed to be able to rid the world of Dracula, but what happens is there's a guy. I forget his name. Albus. But there's a guy who's in your school with you who's jealous, and he wants to do that. So he takes your powers, and you have to get him back. And once you meet him, he gives you part of your powers back or whatever. Not powers, but part of the thing he stole back. And you have the power because you're chosen to defeat Dracula. You have the power of defeating enemies and taking their shards, and you can use their powers. And basically, you go through and you beat the enemies. You get their powers, and you can use them to attack or manipulate the world to get different abilities. And it's random. And you go to a town, and you can find these villagers that are missing. And you can't actually see the good ending until you find all the villagers. And then once you do that, or you can't actually progress until you find all the villagers, otherwise you'll get a bad ending. So once you find all the villagers, you can help them out. They give you quests and stuff that aren't really important. They're just fetch questy stuff. Once you do that, Dracula's castle arises. Then it turns into a Castlevania game, which this is the part of the game I really liked. Up until then, it was okay, you have a map and you go to different places. And then Dracula's castle appears, and you're in a full-blown Castlevania. Then you can travel all through. It's more linear, which I like. It's very good. It's some of the bosses are very challenging, but it's very, very fun. At the end, I'll tell which one I like of my ranking, I guess, of these DS Castlevania games, and this one's really, really good. And you can see Bloodstained. They kind of perfected this ability in Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon. Igarashi did. If you like this, play Bloodstained. There's a lot of similarities between these two. Yeah, it's very fun. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. Ooh. Don't know why I went ooh. Next up, we have a new series for me. I played the third one, then I played 1 and 2, and now I played the 7th, Ys 7. This is the 7th Ys game, apparently. And it's the first one to have multiple party members. So my experience with Ys is I played Ys 3 on Super Nintendo. I loved it. You play as Adol. And Dogi's in there too. He's in this game too. There he is right there, Dogi. Then I played Ys 1 and 2 on the PSP. Like those as well. Ys 1 and 2 are almost like one game broken up into two. The first one's very short, and the second one is a little bit longer and beefier, and you get magic spells. This one, you have a party system where you can switch between up to 2 other party members at a time. It's action combat. It's button presses to attack. Basically, you're in I'm trying to remember the story. You play as Adol and Dogi, and you go into this place, and there's something going on. These dragons are rising. You got to beat the dragons and stop the land of what it's called from being torn apart, destroyed. There's more to it than that. That's basically you got to meet the dragons, get the power, and then you can fight the bad guy. The characters, there's a ton of characters in here, as you can see, and a lot of them, some of them leave and they come back later. But you always have Adol and Dogi. You meet the guy with the spear, Gestalt, Geese, I guess his name is. Very good game. You go through the main world, then you go and re-explore the world again. So it's kind of retreading stuff, but it's very fun. I enjoyed it immensely. Ys 7 is a great game. The soundtrack is a killer. It's very action oriented. It's still RPG, equipment, items. The soundtrack, battling enemies is fun. There's all kinds. You go into these temples. They're well designed. Enemies are fun to fight. The story it's fine. The soundtrack and it's just very. This is a great game. Ys 7, and I think you can play it on PSP or PC as well. And I'm really into Ys games now. I want to play the other ones sometime. I want to play Ys Origins sometime. But that's the great thing about finding out a new series. Like, you can dive into it. You don't have to do them all once. You can just trickle them out, and you know that you'll have stuff that you can look forward to. And Ys is a series I didn't get into until later. And I've enjoyed every single Ys game I've played. A great series. Next up, I beat Castlevania the Second for the DS. Portrait of Ruin. You play as Jonathan Morris, son of John Morris from Bloodlines. Yes, this takes place after Castlevania Bloodlines on the Genesis. It takes place in World War II era, 1940s, I think. You play as Charlotte Arwort or something. She's a magical user, and you have the whip at first, but you can't use it because you're Morris, but you can't wield the vampire killer of the Belmonts without help from a card member who is in this game. And I won't say more than that. This is very good because it takes once. What I loved about this game is once you get the Vampire Willer, then it feels like a Castlevania. It has the most of the old Castlevania feel to it. I like using whip weapons, and they use it really well in this later on when you get it. You can switch between Charlotte or Jonathan on the fly, and they say like Charlotte, Jonathan. There's no glyph system. You don't have to draw the glyphs to kill the bosses anymore. The graphics are great. The castle it's fun to explore, and you go into paintings, so you can not the paintings, but not the castle, but you see like ancient Egyptian area, forest area, so you can go outside the castle in these paintings. And the thing is that this guy of the castle is using his magic to seal Dracula with these paintings. You beat the paintings, and it unlocks 4 other paintings you gotta beat, and then you can unlock the whip, and then go to the final painting and beat the evil in the castle, which is Dracula. And it's the final boss of Dracula is cool because it's you and Death, and they like tag team you with Death and him, and it's really cool. Really good. The soundtrack's great. It's really good. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. Next up we have, I beat this game before, but I played it, felt like playing again. That's Castlevania. Apparently I beat it before, thanks. But I never got, so what happened was I beat it, I never got the true ending because I didn't know what to do. And then on stream, Richard helped me. There's my phone. No, nobody. Nobody I know. But I didn't know how to get the good ending, and when I was on stream, my friend Richard told me how to do that. And this time I went through it, beat it again, and it's good. I don't think it's my favorite of the DS ones, of these Metroid ones, but it's really good. Great soundtrack, though. Great soundtrack. And I played through this twice. It's pretty good. Next up, a game I've been wanting to play. We'll get back to the NES. The NES is the best. We have Rambo on NES. This is like a Zelda. You think Rambo. So what do you think of when you think Rambo? You think guns, shooting, explosions, stuff like that. Or you think First Blood, which is basically a emotional character study of a guy coming back from Vietnam and being an outcast in a town, and he's just being pushed around until he snaps and he hooks on the police force of the town. And then you got the other Rambo movies, which are more like with a gun shooting stuff, like Weird Al and UHF with a gun. The parody of Rambo 3. This is a exploration platformer like Metroid Zelda 2. Only the map is much more confusing. It has a great soundtrack. You start off with a knife, and you can get, when you beat enemies, you get like a gun, you get like a bow, you get explosive arrows, you get medicine to heal you if you need to. You can switch between them, and you beat enemies, you get experience, you level up, you get stronger, you get more health. You beat enemies, and you get like a heart that increases your life. And it follows the story of Rambo, kind of. Rambo 3, I think. You meet the, what's her name, Poe? The girl that Rambo's with that dies at the end. Oh, sorry, spoiler. And it follows the story, and they tell you, the translation is kind of wacky. They tell you what to do, and you got to find your objective, and then you beat the boss. And the hardest thing about this game is finding out where to go, because the map is very confusing. So there's it's almost like Friday the 13th on NES, where you see like a north arrow, a north icon on the screen, and you hit up to go on to the next screen. But I didn't make a map, and maybe I should have, but it didn't really make any sense. But I was able to get through it without a map. The combat can be kind of wanky with the hit detection, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad when you get more lives. The enemies, there's this part in the game where you fight Murdoch from Rambo 3, and he turns into like a spider or something, and you shoot like kanji letters at. It's really weird. It took me off guard on this stream when I was playing it. Rambo's a decent game. It's more of an adventure game than anything, and is like a where to go game, adventure, level up, kind of RPG-ish. Wouldn't expect it from Rambo, but it's decent. I like it. Next up, we have Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, the first of the Nintendo DS Castlevania games. These used to come out, bang, bang, bang. Finally finished. Did I finish? I think this is another one where I never got the best ending. But I checked my file from a few years ago, maybe 2009, 2000 something, and I did get pretty far, but I don't know if I got the best ending, but this time I did. I like this one, not as much as Portrait or Ecclesia, because you got to draw seals to finish the boss with a touchscreen. If you don't, then they come back. It's a follow-up to Aria of Sorrow. It takes place a few years, like 2037, where in this game, Soma is the reincarnation of Dracula. Now there's, like, I forget the story to be honest with you, but he's back. Looks great, sounds great. I just didn't like it as much as the others, but still a decent game. I think I don't like how they changed the art either, from circle, from into a more anime style. It does have Julius Belmont. This has like a Julius mode, which once you beat it, you can fight. Julius Belmont was the last Belmont to defeat Dracula in 1999, I think. This takes place in 2035. Is that right? But there's a mode when you beat these games, you get extra modes, and you can play as Julius mode. He's a typical Belmont with sub-weapons and whip, which I might like that mode more, but I haven't played through it. So we'll see. If I do play it, getting in it will be with that mode. I guarantee. Next up, we have a game I really liked at the beginning, but I really fell off of it by the time I beat it. That's Ghost Lion, an RPG for the NES by Kemco. I don't know if they developed it or not. So, your parents go missing trying to kill a lion. You have to go find them. You find items that are possessed by spirits that you can call. So you don't get party members, but you can call these spirits through items to help you fight. Random battles, but the problem is the battles don't give you experience. They just get in the way. You get gold to buy stuff, but there's too many random battles, and that's okay, but you get no experience for them. The only way you level up is by finding these. There's like hope, is like your you get these level up things that level up and increase your stats. So if you miss these things, it's harder. So you got to explore everything to find these, but the random battles are too much, and you don't get much for them. And you can run out of HP very quickly by running around these mazes trying to look. By the time I got near the end, I just used a map to find out where to go, because it was so many random battles, and I didn't feel like mapping it out. That it just wore on me. It has some good ideas, like I like that they changed like the HPMP and other things into like hope, and so what was it, Ghost Lion Hope something, and let me see. 1 second, please. I'll tell you in a second. Hope is your level. You get that by finding items to level up. Courage is your HP. And Dream is your MP. So they kind of like your hope, courage, and dreams. That's kind of cool. And the story is decent, and it's cool to play like an interesting take on an RPG. It's just I didn't find it that. I was expecting a little bit more Dragon Quest, and it was more. It was not as good, but it's not. Few RPGs that are as good as the Dragon Quest NES games. So, I mean, it was fine. Just near the end, I was getting a little tired. And lastly, we have a new game. Yay! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge for the Nintendo Switch. It has a coupon for a personal pan pizza, like the TMNT 2 arcade game on NES did. This game's great. It's super fun to play. It's the good thing about beat 'em ups is when you hit somebody and it feels good to play, you have a real weight to your attacks. This game nails that. The music is great. You can have up to 6 people playing at once, which I haven't played with 6. I did play with my friend John, and we went through it. I went through story mode with all the characters and got them up to the highest level. I want to do arcade mode sometime with all the characters. Arcade mode, you get limited continues and 3 lives to beat. This game is super fun to play. Yeah, it's just much like Streets of Rage 4, they nail the feel and the soundtrack and everything about it. It has lots of cool characters from the Turtles universe that stop by in the background. Yeah, it's fun. I'd like to play with like another person or two to have fun with. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a great time. And I believe that is everything. I think there were some other games that I didn't put in here because I beat them before. And I only generally like to put games I beat for the first time. But I think I went through, let me see, 1 second. Oh yeah, oh, I didn't even talk about these. Holy cow. Doom. I went through Doom 2 again. For the first time. I never beat Doom before, so I went through Doom and Doom 2. And I also played through Doom 64, which was my first Doom game I ever got. I love Doom 64. I remember my mom got it for me, and it was like $85. And it was like, I can't believe she bought it for me because there was like a pentagram demon on the front, but I was so happy. I really like Doom 64 a lot. I played through Doom 3 as well. But we'll talk. I already beat that. I didn't want to talk because I didn't put this down. And I played through Curse of Darkness, Trevor mode, which I beat Curse of Darkness before. I didn't actually do Trevor mode, so this time I wanted to do Trevor mode. Curse of Darkness is a great Dragon Quest game, or Dragon Quest, great Castlevania game. It's very, very, I should say, very underrated in my book. Also, played through Faxanadu again. That's a game I thought I liked more than I did. It's fine. It's just the key system really drags it down. You gotta have certain keys. If you don't got it, you gotta get them back. I played through Milon's Secret Castle again in September. I love that game. Fester's Quest I played through again. And Dragon Quest VI for the first time for the Super Nintendo. I played through it on the DS, but did not play through it on the Super Nintendo version, so I played through that. Yeah, so that's it. I didn't talk about those much because I already beat them, but I should have probably talked about Dragon Quest VI more. I will say, the Super Nintendo version of Dragon Quest VI is one of the most gorgeous Super Nintendo games I think there's out there. It's stunning. And I still don't like Terry from the game, the legendary hero Terry. Other than that, it was like super game. I think that's about it. I want to thank everybody for watching. I recently hit 600 subscribers, so that's a big thing. Thank you all very much. For anybody who's watched one of my videos, thank you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Take care.